Right, I think we're up and running, and we're back on Virtual Pool 4 for Friday Night 9 Ball. This is a weekly 9 ball Scotch, not Scotch doubles, double elimination tournament. And, well, the bracket should be up, and there we go. We'll just update that. So, we've got Larry at the top in the bracket. And now who the hell is that? He's playing, is that Christian? I think it is 1972. And Larry's given 5 and out in that one. And Popman has a bye to round 2. And DJ Simon is playing McCold, or McCold I think it is. And McCold's getting a 5 ball. LS3's got a bye. DJ Rido's got a bye, and Luis Capo has a bye. So the first match at the top of the bracket is Larry given 5 and out, so we might as well see what he's up against. It's the heaviest handicap that you can get in the tournament. Double elimination. And of course, with 5 and out, Larry can't afford any mistakes. He might have made one there. He's going to block himself behind the 6, I think. Yep, he's going to have to jump to escape that one. Now, I hope the chat is working if anybody's out there. I didn't get 100% confirmation that it was. It normally pops up and tells me it's, and everything's set right. But normally I get a little message. Ah, well, that is working. Good evening. Bedhead. That confirms it's working. So Larry managed to escape. And he managed to get lucky as well. And that's quite a good effort there by Christian. A little kick safe. Now this is where things can go wrong here. Larry leaves that 5 ball exposed. Christian needs to just pot it and he'll win the rack, but Larry's played a good safe again. And another kick and hope here, and Christian's well away from that one, so Larry's now got ball in hand. And the 8 ball hanging over the left, 6 ball down the bottom. So he's going to have to travel the cue ball. But there's plenty of room. He's got to leave himself a little angle because I think the 5's fairly tight in that top rail. So he's just given himself a little angle to nip across the right hand side. Of course, he's now left a lot of distance here. And he can't steal too much of an angle on this 6 ball. He doesn't want to be trying to force too much here. It's not the perfect angle, so he's going to have to move the cue ball slightly. And that creates problems with the shot. And he didn't want to risk doing too much. So no worries about getting on the 8 ball, he just needs to focus and pot in the 7. I think pretty much anywhere on the table he's going to have a shot in the 8. So it's a race to 7 on the winner's side, and well, there's the mistake. Larry's got really lucky here. He's got really lucky. How about that? Misses the 7, and the 7 rolls over the 8 ball in the middle pocket. So Larry is, well, I think he's used up one of his 9 lives there. And he's off and running. But nevertheless, it was still a miss by Larry, and it could have cost him dearly. But he got away with it in big time. Now look at where the 2 ball is. Let's check my little doodle. 2-9 combo, definitely on. And Larry just trying to be cheeky, and that was a clever little combo. A little billiard off the 1 onto the 2, onto the 9, and all of a sudden it's 2-0. But these 5 and out handicaps can really turn a match very quickly. Well, it's going to have to. Larry's off and racing here. Well, this time the break is dry. And of course, again, you keep your eye on the danger ball. There's the danger ball there for Larry. I'll do my line a wee bit straighter this time, that's better. So the 5 ball, very adjacent to that corner pocket. And Larry has scratched, and what's more, he set up the 1-5 combo here for Christian. I think he needs to get that cue ball lined up as good as he can. And he's took no time at all to actually line up the shot and make sure he got it right, but just had a slash at it. So, you know, that's not a good sign. You've got to take your time and get yourself set up properly to take that shot. Looked as if he was desperate to get it over with. And Larry, again, with that effort by Christian, has been let well off the hook. Now, Christian's a, 1567 rated player, so he must be relatively new. I've never seen him play before, but you would think he'd be well out his depth against someone of Larry's class. Good evening, Dizzle. Welcome aboard. I've made the chat bigger so I can read it even easier. Well, Larry's riding his luck there, potting that too, because he had no real idea where the cue ball was going to finish. And he's finished hooked on the 3. And he's kicked it safe. Well, pretty safe. Now Christian should be cutting this to this bottom rail here and sending the cue ball up towards the 5 and 8. And well, at least he's got the cover, but he's not got the distance. Larry's going to have to, I mean, I don't know whether he can sneak between that 8 and 7. No, I don't think he can. Ideally, he wants to hit this 2 rails. That way he's kicking the 3 up the table. And he's gone behind it. Well, let's see if Christian's going to use the head here. Well, I think the answer to that is not very much. Visible evidence of lack of experience here. You know, when you've got ball in hand, you've got to, again, it's the basics. Even if you're not a good player, and your cue ball control isn't that good, the one thing you have to do is to use the head and try and judge your pace better to get the cue ball in a position where at least you can see the object ball. And there wasn't much evidence of that there from Christian. So there's a bonus for him. Him or her, I don't know whether it's a male or a female. I'm assuming it's a male. So in fact, let's have a wee look and see where this chap is from. Well, according to the flag, Estonia. Is Estonia not one of the Baltic states or something like that? or one of the former members of the Soviet Union. And Larry, of course, from the States. And in the blink of an eye, it's 2-all. That's how quickly a 5 and out handicap can make up the difference. I think I actually never looked here. Is Christian just playing with a house cue? Because that break off sounded like a house cue. Oh, has he got a? I never even looked. Oh, he must have it in his profile. He certainly doesn't have one for the lobby. I'll see that later. So this is us back to the normal weekly tournaments. The big tournament is finished, which was the Virtual World Straight Pool Championship, which once again, 2 major tournaments in a row have been won by semi-pro, and it's 2 defeats in a row and a final for Dizzle. Not that he'll want me to remind him of that, but I've just done it. So Larry looking to run out. He's going to be running this cue ball away here. He's got to try and do something to get on this 7, and it's not an ideal situation here because first of all the simple shot would be to run through towards the 9 and pot the 7 in the corner, but the 8 ball's blocking that. And that's another gift. Another gift for Christian. Well, the worst thing he'll do there is follow that in, so he needs to kill it. So Larry now finds himself trailing by 3 racks to 2, and that's how Larry's going to lose, by going for his shots and missing them and just teeing them up for his opponent. But it's a dry break, so we've got the 1 ball over a pocket, the 2 ball over a pocket, the 4 ball over a pocket, and well, that would be the shot, getting on that 3 just to push it onto the 4, but that's not ideal because once again with that 3 ball being so close to the 8 in line, you've got to get straight on it. You can't be trying to cut it to the 4 because then you're potting blindly and you're more than likely to cut it into the 8. So this isn't simple, and Larry's trying to get in line, and like I say, he's left it short, and that's the problem. He could even maybe try and billiard the 8 onto the 4, or just try and lock up the cue ball, but it's potting blindly. He's managed to do it clean, and he's also managed to stay on the 3. Once again, this is not ideal. He has to avoid that 9. So he's going to have to dig down to get that cue ball to miss the 9. And it's another shot from distance. But there's a big area table on the right hand side just to get a sighter on this 7 ball. And it'll all hinge getting good on this 8 off the 7. Provided he pots a 6, that is. Now, what's he got? Well, he's got an angle. Now, if he draws back off this 7, he's going to run up to the left towards the 8 ball. He wants to come across the table to the right hand side. And the simple shot would be to pot the 8. Let's see how far he goes. Well, he's a bit straight, a little soft draw, and he'll be on the 9 into the opposite pocket. And that will do. That's ideal. So Larry's going to get it back on par. 3 racks all. Into rack number 7. And Larry to break. Winner breaks in these tournaments. Now, what have we got? Well, Larry's potted a 6 on the break. Wrong angle on the 1, so he's again going to have to play this with inside right English if you want to avoid running around the corner into the 9 ball. So this cue ball was going to play the deep draw into the rail. Well, he's avoided the 9. It was always risky. And now the problem is he's left himself a high angle in this too, so he'll do well to avoid hitting anything here at this angle. And this is where it can go wrong. He could easily block himself out in the 3 and end up having to kick it in. Well, he's got away with it in a sort of a way, but he's dead straight on it, so he's going to have to draw back up the table, or maybe nudge into the 8, but that's risky because he doesn't guarantee a shot in the 4. So what does he do? He could draw back up the table, I think, and then play the 4 onto the 8. Fairly straightforward combo. And that's probably the wiser move. Oh, good evening, Mal. Welcome aboard. See, I remember the name now. Well, it's important that Larry gets high on this 5 ball to be able to get comfortable on this 7, and he's managed to do that. 7 on this bottom rail, no good. If he was playing it at a high angle, it just makes the shot that more difficult. So Larry, after having gone behind, looks as if he's going to go back into the lead. Well, at least that confirms that Twitch is working as well as YouTube. The chat's mixing okay in the screen. Larry's broke off. He's had 3 balls in a break, at least that I can count. Yep, 3 ball, the 5 and the 6 have all gone. So that's 2 of Christian's money balls have left the table. But that 7 ball in the bottom right, that one is in a dangerous position for Larry. And Larry's made the mistake. Now Christian could try and cut the 1, and he could maybe even billiard onto the 7 here. Well, he's played the draw shot. Now, having potted the 1, he's going to have to try and get up that table to the top end. And he's a bit over exuberant and too much of a hurry. That's the first bit of advice, is slow down and use your shot clock. A lot of new players seem desperate to impress and get off the mark so quickly. There's a couple of results come in already. DJ Simon has won, and Spectre Don has won by forfeit, I believe. And meanwhile, back at this match, Christian has missed a 2, and I would say pretty much got away with it. I think Larry would be really desperate to try and cut that too. And you just try and sneak this cue ball up to that right hand corner if you can. And that's kept a distance. 9 foot of distance between the cue ball and the 2 ball makes it much more difficult to keep everything safe. Well, what that's done there is tied the 7 and 8 up, so it makes it more difficult for Larry to try and run out if he gets a half decent opportunity. He could try tucking the 2 ball in towards the 7 and 8 here. Doesn't need a lot of pace in the cue ball. He looks as if he's lining up the bank. And he's hung the 2. And the 9 isn't quite covering it. Well, the 4 ball's difficult enough, and he's played that well. Now, can he billiard off this 7 onto the 8? No, he can't, I don't think. I think it's too thick a contact. I think he'll be pushing it to the jaw. But he's got a very easy safety here if he plays it right, and he's had a smack at it. And would you believe it, he's probably got away with it again. Although there is another bank on for Larry, he's going to have to make it though. But he should have rolled up and buried Larry there on behind that 7. And hid behind the 8, I should say. Larry's gone flat out again. And you would think that's the rack done and dusted. So there's a wee bit of tournament play advice required here by Christian, or match play advice, just to start using the head and think a bit more about what you're doing. Because that's what's required. I mean, even though you're getting 5 and out, you can't be playing into players like Larry's hands. You've just got to use the head and the common sense and make it awkward. It's the best thing you can do. If you don't have the ability and you're aware of your ability that you're not going to be stringing balls together, then first thing you do is make sure that your opponent can't be doing it. So you make it as hard as possible for them. There's always ways to try and keep yourself in a match and maybe even eventually win a match. You might not have everything in your armoury, but you do have certain things in your armoury. Every player does, and it's important you start using them quickly. So Larry has opened up a gap now. It's 5-3. Larry misses a 2, and he's got it safe. So there's a chance here for Christian to try and hide behind the 4. Didn't get enough onto the cue ball to kill the speed and kill it, and just tuck it in behind that 4 there. So those first 2 matches, well, one of them is obviously by forfeit, but the match with DJ Simon, that must have flown through for Simon to win 7-2. Very quick result. Larry's overcut that. He's got it safe though. And this is difficult to play and just try and hide that cue ball. Well, that's not a bad outcome. And the danger here, of course, is that we're very near the business end of the rack as far as Christian's concerned, because if Larry leaves this 3 ball on, Christian only needs to pot the 3, the 4 and the 5 to win the rack, and Larry sent that into the jaw in the middle pocket. It was hugging the rail but just caught the jaw. Now if that nudged the 7, that would have helped Christian there, but he's still got a shot in the 4, but he needs to dig into the cue ball, and again not taking his time and rushing the shot. A golden opportunity there thrown away. Now, is there enough of that 4 ball showing there to catch an edge of it? There certainly is, and he's not caught it thin enough. Well, this 4 definitely pots this time. Well, if it's going to go wrong, it's going to go wrong from the 8 ball to the 9. The good thing in Larry's favour is the 9 isn't that far away from the top end rail. So if he overdoes it with the cue ball, then he should still be able to cut that back into either pocket. So everything's pretty much in Larry's favour here. Nothing to do with the cue ball here. Just roll it through. Off the side rail, leave a little angle in the 7 to get up for the 9. He looks to have enough angle on it. He doesn't want to go straight. See, the further down he's gone there, the more he's having to do with the cue ball. Now this isn't so simple. He's going to have to put a wee bit of oomph into this to get it moving. And where's the cue ball going? Oh, disaster. Well, surely Christian's got enough sense to slow the play here, line this 8 ball up and just roll it in, and don't do anything stupid, because this is a gift and a half he's got here. And again, not even looking at the line of the shot, because you can't miss an 8 ball as much as that when you're not slowing yourself down. Somebody have a word in this boy's ear. Well, as long as he's enjoying himself, that's all that matters. So Larry has been reprieved again, and he's now on the hill. And well, experience through time. If Christian sticks at the game, he'll learn to cut that sort of stuff out of his play. And if he ever wonders why he's losing so many games, then that would be one reason. So the push out, and well, if Larry can skim this 1 and avoid the 3, I don't think he can. Well, he's run into the 3. Well, here's a chance of a bang at the 1 and the 6 for a combo. Oh, he sneaked it past the 6. Managed to hug past the 6 and just cheat the pocket, and in goes the 1 ball. Well, here's the problem. 5 balls locked up with the 8. Christian's missed the 4. And Larry is going to try and get on the bottom rail here. That's the only place he can pot that 8 ball, that 5 ball from, I think. I don't think it goes. It doesn't go that way, but he can pot it into the middle if he can get anywhere down here, which is what he's trying to do. Anywhere in this area he'll be able to cut that 5 in. I think he's a bit weak here, he's scratched. Well, once again it's a gift for Christian with ball in hand to get square behind that 5 and roll it into the middle. And Christian pinches another one. It's back to 6-4. But as soon as Larry hit that shot, it looked a bit weak. So it did, and ended up scratching in the middle pocket. Christian's broke in rack number 11. A dry break and a reverse bank into this right hand corner pocket for Larry. Well, now it's ball in hand and all of these balls are there, and the immediate problem straight away is not so much potting the 1 but avoiding traffic to get good on that 2 ball, and it's only going to be potted from the left hand side, so somewhere up by the 9 ball is where he's looking to get. Well, that was a good shot, if only it hadn't hit the 7, because the spin on it was taking it out behind the 7 for a shot in the 2. Oh, good evening, welcome aboard. We've got at least 3 people watching this. Well, that's now fell awkward for Larry, right over the 7 ball. And if anything, well, I suppose he's lining up to pot the 2. He's played that well, but he's going to be locked behind a 5 and 8 here. Not much he could do with the cue ball. And once again, we're at this dangerous situation. And Larry's now opened up the 5, which is good for him. But it also helps Christian as well. Oh, good evening, Popman. Well, the scratch. So here's Larry's chance to finish the match here, and he's going to have to deal with a problem ball, which is the 4 ball. He's looking at the 4-8 combo. So he's looking to get lined up on this as best he can to be able to make the combo as easy as he can. Well, he's done the other thing. The assumption is he's played that shot to just drop right behind the 4. But he's now only got half a cue ball to hit though. So the difficulty is in trying to stop that cue ball to play the 5. So he's going to have to run up to the middle pocket. And I think he's got there. Yeah, he's okay. Well, he doesn't want to be dead straight in this 8 ball. He would love a little angle on it just to get the cue ball out into the table for the 9. Well, he's got the little angle. Whether he can actually draw off that 8 and leave a comfortable cut into the right middle, I don't know. We'll see what he's thinking. He's stunned out. Well, it's a slight cut back, but he should get this. Shouldn't be any problem. So this for the match. So Larry is through to round 2, and he wins the match by 7 racks to 4. Christian moves over to the 1 loss side, and we'll have a quick look at the bracket. And well, that's quick. The bracket's updated quick tonight, and we've got DJ Simon in his round 2 match, and he's playing LS3. And Simon's getting the 8 ball, I think it is, and he's 2-0 up. And the match at the bottom of the screen is Spectre Dawn against Luis Capo. I can't even see that, and I'm sitting right in front of the computer. Luis Capo's getting a 7 and 8, 7 and out, sorry. Spectre Dawn's 5-1 up. So what we'll do is we'll go in and have a look at this DJ Simon match. Well, I can't even read the scores right because I'm saying Simon's up 2-0. It's 5-2 to LS3. That shows you how bad the text is on that bracket. The contrast isn't that good for my eyes because that 5, as far as I was concerned, was a 0. But it's bad news for DJ Simon. He's trailing 5-2. And it's going to take a good shot here to avoid drawing into the middle pocket and get good on the 7. And that needs to move that cue ball. And he's blocked himself off. And DJ Simon getting the 8 ball as his extra money ball. Has he got lucky? Yes, he has. And the cross bank on the 7, and in it goes by LS3. So this 9 for 6-2. So DJ Simon's got his work cut out. Well, he went for the bank there, but he had a good opportunity to hide that cue ball. Plenty of cover up the top end of the table there. Well, that's a good shot. Drawn right onto the 7, and it's held in between the 9 and 5 for the 2. But he needs to play another good one to find the gap on the side rail to get on that 3, or to finish somewhere in this little gap here. To be able to cut the 3. And he's okay. He's got a shot. Once again though, got to avoid blocking himself off with those balls up the top of the table. And he might well be hampered by the 7. So that makes this shot 10 times more difficult. think the 4 will sneak behind the 7, surely, will it? Well, then again, when you get up the table and you look at it, no way, but Simon's played the combo. He's going to have to back this up. He can't afford any more mistakes. So remember, DJ Simon has the 8 ball as the extra money ball. Well, at least he saved one, provided he rolls the 8 in. So it's back to 6-3. DJ Simon with the break. And the break is almost dry, I think. That 5 ball seriously thought it'll be going in. So we've got the 5 and 6 locked up in corner pockets here. No shot in the 1 for LS3, and he's looking to play safe. And I don't know whether he's got it, has he? Yes, he has. Now, is there a shot on the 3 there? No, there isn't. So there's problems here to be negotiated if LS3 is going to try and run this rack. And Simon trying to get this 1 thin and avoid hitting the 8 in the side rail, which he hasn't done. That was always the problem with that shot. You had to get it thin enough to avoid running into the 8, and that's held the cue ball up. And it's given LS3 a 1-6 combo to get started. Where's the cue ball going? Well, that's scratching. So immediately DJ Simon back at the table with a problem to deal with. Now, can he play the 1-7 combo where that 7 will chip the 8, the 5? It looks as if it's going to that jaw. It's touch and go as to whether it would skim the 5 and drop it in. Well, Simon's looking to play a far-fetched shot here. And that's worked out nice. That was risky. And this time LS3's got a chance, if he can, to move something here. I don't know whether he can get enough into the cue ball to be able to do it. Yeah. Let's see from this angle. Well, this is not easy. This is really, really tough. He's far too close to the 2 to pick an angle to pot that 2. Now, can he kill the cue ball and try and get in behind the 7 and send the 2 up the table? What's he trying? Well, I suppose that's as good as anything, but Simon may well try the billiard here, draw into the 9, and that's a gift of an opportunity there. Always better to try and get distance with the cue ball. And that was an open invitation for Simon, who duly stepped up and took it. So it's now back to 6-4. The break looks dry to me. A thin cut back in the 1, but LS3's chosen to push out. But look at these balls. These balls are all in the open. Nothing blocking anything else. Well, now Simon, if he can punch that 1 ball up the table and it avoids the traffic, then he might have good cover. But straight away he's ran right into the 6. The shot's on in the 1. The 6 is blocking the pocket for the 2 ball at the top end. And he's pretty straight in this 1. But he's going to have as good a chance as any here to play the 2-6 combo. But can he run out? Where's the 2 ball going? Well, it's into the middle. That saves a bit of trouble. And he's scratched, so a gift of a chance here for DJ Simon. And straight away, you slow yourself down. You look at the table and you've got it clear in your head what you're doing. Pot the 3, a little roll in the 4, and make sure you go far enough in the 5 to make it easy to hold for the 7. And he's not gone far enough. He needed to be there. See, if he's there, he's perfect, because he can roll through for the 7 there. He's the wrong side, and that makes it more awkward. Another 2 or 3 inches that way was fine. Now the cue ball's running all over the place here. Remember, he only needs to get to the 8 ball. And where's the cue ball going? Oh dear. Well, he's going to have to slap his head with that shot. Now, you know where that all went wrong. Exactly what I said. If he'd gone far enough up the table, everything was perfect. It's just a case of potting the ball, and the cue ball just does the rest for you. But the basic error of just falling short in that position, and that in the end is what's cost DJ Simon a gift of a chance to stay in the match. And he blew it with just a one wee error with a positional shot. The weight of shot was short. And in the end, LS3 wins the match by 7 racks to 4. That's how easy it is to just get yourself out of shape. And it doesn't take a lot to get yourself out of shape, as we saw there. So, we've had a few results come in. Larry is, now what's the score in that match? Larry's 2-1 up against Popman. Popman getting the 5 ball. The bracket's updated. LS3's through to round 3. We've got, is that Killer Cat? That bracket, the actual names in the bracket, for the size of the font in this bracket, without me enlarging it, it needs to be a better contrast so I can read it, because I can hardly read the names, let alone read the handicap. Killer Cat is playing DJ Redo, and Killer Cat is getting the 8 ball, and he's up 1-0. I think that's a 1. And Spectre Dawn is up 6-4 against Capo, and Capo getting 7 and out. And what we got in the 1 loss side? Well, there's no matches set yet there until something happens on this side. Right, let's look at this match here. This is a name. Now, is this Killer Cat not somebody under a different profile? Did somebody not mention that the other week there? If I remember correctly. Let's have a look. I think Killer Cat is somebody else. Ah, yeah, I thought that. Aye. Yeah. See, you can have as many profiles as you want as long as you pay for them. I think he's got the second profile in case he thinks he's going to drop his straight pool rating by playing in the 9-ball tournament. So, I can read it better now that we're actually in the room. Player 2 is getting the 8 ball. And Killer Cat has won the first rack. DJ Redo with ball in hand. A 5-9 combo sitting there, desperate to be sunk. Now, the problem, of course, is, does DJ Redo have a go at it now? And he has done. I'll tell you why. The problem there would be if he had potted the 3 and then tried to pot the 4 and got on the 5-9, he'd have probably had no chance of getting good on it. So that was the wise move. and that's just using the head. So we are all square. Now you do know that Bedhead, you know that Killer, what do you call him? Wanwa had a conversation with me one day telling me and insisting that Wanwa is pronounced Fan Fan. You do know that. It reads as Wanwa, but it's actually Fan Fan, he says. And there's the result through. Spectre Dawn has beaten Louis Capot by 7 racks to 4. Well, that one's going to track to the pocket, I think. Oh, just caught the knuckle. Well, we know the 4-ball pots into the far corner. And that was a bad miss by DJ Redo. I think he's actually, has he escaped there? I think I don't think Kellett, can he get through there without nudging the 7? No, he can't. Well, here's the tough one. The tough one is potting the 3 and just holding that cue ball enough to stay behind the 4 to take it in the top pocket. Well, in the end, I don't know what DJ Redo played there. Did he play the bank or did he play to kill the cue ball in behind the 4 and the 8? And if so, neither of them worked, but he's actually still got it pretty safe. Well, the reverse bank on the 3 ball, it's lined up with that first diamond on the left rail there, and that's a good sign for the bank. You can't double bank it, of course, because the 5 ball's blocking it. But elected to play safe. And I think, of course, the problem is still that 4 ball. It's only potable. Well, it was potable into that corner. The 9's now blocking that, but we can see it goes into this corner. It's not going anywhere else, I don't think. No. Well, there's a good safety here. Just bank that 3 ball up to the right and try and tuck over behind the 6 and 7. Well, he's went the other way, but he's just left the 3 on. But the right shot to play there would have been to send that ball off the end rail up there into the cue ball over here. That's where your cover was. So whatever he planned there, it didn't work out. And the other problem here for Killer Cat is actually holding for the 4 again. He needs to drop this in dead weight. And once again, I don't know what he tried. I can't see what the shot was he was playing there. But the obvious shot there was to do that. Now he's stuck behind the 6. He might kick this 3 in. Always highly likely that can be done when you're banking across to hit the 3. Now that changes it. That's opened up the 4. But Killer Cat has got lucky. DJ Redo kicks at the 3 and has pretty much got away with it. There's nothing easy here. It pots into this left hand corner. The safety's been played, but now that 3, that has to be made slightly, that bank, I think. But he's not risking it. Looking to keep cover. But that's a fairly straightforward jump shot to escape. Now where's the safety here? You've just got to ride your luck. Well, there is a pot on, but again it's not easy, but the angle is good to come back across to the right hand side, off the rail and back across, and it'll give you a shot in the fort. And he's following the line perfectly. Look at that. Commentator's eye again. Now, what's the angle like though? He's got a slight angle. It has to get the pace right. And he's just nudged the 9 there, and that's killed the momentum. And this now, for what was a good opportunity and a poor safety, has given Killer Cat a chance. Can you get this cue ball up the table though? Is there enough there to work with? Let's have a look. No, obviously he wasn't happy with it, but again, it's poor because that cue ball squirted out behind the 7, and this time DJ Redo has a chance to cut the 5, but he's played the better safety. A much better safety, because he's not jumping that, and it is not easy to kick at it. He's going to have to go off the long rail on the left hand side. Or is he looking to play a lock-up shot here and sacrifice ball in hand? What's he thinking? So ball in hand to DJ Redo. Now, has he got enough confidence to go for the run out, or is he going to play a 5-9 combo? That tells you how confident somebody is in their abilities when they've got ball in hand in this situation. Needs to leave the angle in the 6 though. And he's got the angle, but he's going to have to dig into that cue ball a wee bit or play it with spin to get that cue ball to move up the table. Now if it misses the 9, that's perfect. Well, it's now not perfect because he's on the rail, so he can only get that top half of the cue ball again, and he's going to leave the 8 long. The angle's good on the 8, just to run straight through onto the bottom rail and get back up past the middle pocket. Plenty of room to work with here. You see, load, I mean, that should have been another foot up the table. He's still got the cut. I mean, it's not difficult, but you can always make it a wee bit more comfortable. You get a lot more room to play with. So we are into rack number 4. DJ Redo has the lead and the break, and it's another dry one, I think. And again, an easy safety here. You can cut it to the right rail, and he's went for a smack. You see, that is not the shot I'd be playing. The shot to play there was to cut that ball to the rail and send it there, and the cue ball there, there and down here, because you're looking for distance. I mean, it was much easier to play the decent safety there than it was to do what he just did, and a smack and hope for a result. That's me now into my reserve bottle of water. Well, it's a good job that DJ Redo's come to the table with the one hanging over the pocket, because if Killer Cat had potted that, he would have just shot himself in the foot for a 2-8 combo because he was blocked off on it. But now DJ Redo has that opportunity. The only difference is this isn't his money ball. And now we've got a mess at the bottom end. 5 ball isn't going anywhere. And he was way off the mark with that 3 ball. Now Killer Cat has a pot in the 3, straightforward enough, but he has to leave an angle on the 4. And again, lashes out. Is this Christian under another name, or is it Wanwa under another name? I don't know. But we've seen players where they're not prepared to take any time and put much thought into what they're doing, lashing out at balls. Oh, the yawning started at 8:05. Goodness me. Right, look at the table. Table's wide open. And a chance for DJ Redo to open up a gap here. And in all honesty, there's no excuse here. Loads of room to get this cue ball into a spot to pot the next ball. And he's certainly got a good angle on the 5 to go around the corner, off the end rail and the side rail. And the only way this will go wrong is if he blocked himself behind the 9, but once again struggling with the power control, hit that far too hard, and now he's in no man's land. And there's the chance gone. You know, if these guys analyse their play and think, well, you know, where am I going wrong? Well, the major problem for most players is controlling the cue ball and controlling the pace of it, and knowing the shot and wait a shot to play. And once you crack most of that problem, that can solve a lot of other problems. The major problem is position and judging that pace. And that shot there on that 5 ball was so easy to drop around the corner off the end rail and side rail and drop on that 6. And just overhit it by a couple of feet. Well, that almost went seriously wrong there, but he's okay. Just the 8 ball. And we're all square again. So ball in the break this time. 7 ball has gone. Shot in the 1. Plenty of room for the 2 ball. Now is Killer Cat going to be desperate enough to have a slash at this 2 and try and combo the 9? It's so easy to pot the 2 and draw over to the rail for the 3. And this next shot coming up, again, is all about the pace control. If he gets this badly wrong, he's going to be hooked behind the 8 ball. If he's going to go forward and around the corner, he's got a big area on the right hand side. And the pace is too strong, and I think he still sees the 5. Now there's the result from the one lost side, and DJ Simon has been sent home by Senny in a final rack decider. And meanwhile, Killer Cat, again, two shots there by the two players where they both just run out of line, and it's cost them. Well, it might not, because DJ Redo failed to kick that in, and Killer Cat gets another bite at the cherry. And this still has to be a good shot. From the 6 to the 8, it looks easy enough, because the 8 is blocked out by the 9, so you have to get the south side of it, or the north side of it as we look. It has to stay at the top end of the table. You can't cheat that into the pocket. Well, he's managed to do that, and he's going to have to take this long, I think, or he's going to drop it in dead weight. He can drop it in dead weight off the jaw. So we've got a lead now for Killer Cat, 3 racks to 2, and immediately scratches in the break. Ball in hand for DJ Redo. And, well, let's have a quick look at this 2-ball. Well, the 2-ball goes, but it only goes from a good position. But DJ Redo is lining up the 1-9. And it goes very quickly. We're back all square. And the 2-ball certainly was 1 ball that went down. Seen that one, and also the 4. Now, an easy safety. I don't know. I mean, that just lashing out at a ball is never going to get you joy in the end of the day. And another result in, and Larry marches on, and he's beaten Popman by 7 racks to 2. And a scratch from Killer Cat again, and ball in hand for DJ Redo. And he's going to try and, well, what the hell's he doing here? Another 1-9 combo. Well, that 1 ball cuts. Well, there's a distinct lack of ambition here by players to actually try and run the table. Well, the cue ball is going to go close to that middle jaw on the left hand side. Now again, how's he sitting? Well, he's going to have to come across the table, so either straight across or around the angles to drop behind the 8. And again, the problem is distance. The angle he's got, the cue ball is wanting to go that way, so he's chosen to leave himself at distance again. Mind you, I keep forgetting that was a money ball, wasn't it? The 8 ball. Forgetting that was his money ball. But Killer Cat's got the lead again. This is probably going to go all the way, this match. It's got that written all over it. And that's another poor shot by DJ Redo. At least a foot short. He should have been between the 2 and the 6. and all the balls are wide open. It's crying out for a run out, this table. Killer Cat just misjudging the kick off the rail there. Well, look at the table. I mean, I say it myself, even I could run this table, and that's not saying a lot. But straight away, that cue ball has just gone too far up the table for comfort. He's going to have to go across the table twice here, get the cue ball out, and not lock up against the 7. Well, once again, it's a troublesome position to be in. I think he's only slightly hampered. And that needs to hit something. And he's got a thin one, wrong side of the 5. And has to get the pace in the cue ball for the 5 to move, and that's a good shot. If it misses a 9, it's a better shot. Well, that's okay. Still got a decent enough shot in the 6. Oh dear, he's hung the 6. Well, that might have a bearing in the outcome of the match, because that was a sellout, that shot there. Can Killer Cat take advantage? Just needs the 6, the 7, and the 8 ball. And it looks fairly straightforward from here. So it's back back into the lead by 2 racks this time. 5 racks to 3. And that shot that DJ Redo had there to get on that 2 ball, was it the 2 ball? Left it short. I mean, that's a severe penalty to pay when you have a great chance of running the table. And we've seen a couple of players where okay, knowledge might be partially lacking, but that ability to judge your control of your shot is what's lacking. And it's a thing that they have to work more on if they're going to improve their game, because that's where it's at. And that's why players like Larry can win matches, because they're doing the right things. And there's the result through. Christian has won his first match in the 1-loss side, and he's beaten Louis Capo by 4 racks to 1. And meanwhile, DJ Redo has to win this rack. And again, look at the pace. He's overcut that 5, but look at where the cue ball's gone. It's scratched. I mean, that is overhit by 1.5 feet with the pace that cue ball was travelling at. And again, I must sound like a broken record. Whenever I watch this tournament and I see players playing those type of shots, I keep harping on about working on your mouse settings, because it is the only thing that's going to allow you to temper the speed of your shot and be in more control of your shot, is working on the mouse, taking time enough out and spending time to try and control your shots better. Everything's sort of small steps. You know, you can get to the advanced stages of pool by learning to control that cue ball more and help the ball more with English and stuff like that. But if you can't get the basics right, then you're in a rocky footing. And so DJ Redo, from my mind, has had a couple of good chances to get racks on the board there, and all of a sudden it's 6-3 to Killer Cat. The break has brought 2 balls in the break, the 5 and the 6. No shot in the 1, but if you can see any of the 1, no, well, he certainly could, but he clipped, what did he clip, the 7 or the 8, I don't remember, but it's ball in hand here for DJ Redo. Well, I suppose he could try the 3 fouls here, try and lock the cue ball up behind the 8 or the 3. But that's not locked tight enough, and that can be jumped. Not only that, the one's over the pocket. And Killer Cat, if he can get the jump right, is bound to pot the 1. And he should, if it doesn't run away this cue ball, he should be on the 2. Well, it's running a wee bit more, but I think he's just on the threshold here of a cut into the middle. Needs to watch the scratch though, into the corner. That's a bit far. He's managed to get it. And the 9 ball has killed the pace of the cue ball. But once again, it's a toughie. I don't know whether he can avoid the 8 or not to get up the table. I don't think he can. He's playing what looks like a deep draw onto the rail. No, he's scratched it dead in the corner. Well, DJ Redo has a tough one. Ball in hand on the 4 ball. And he's looking to finish in the left hand side of the table here, off the right side rail and down into this left corner. And now it's easy enough to play the shot and just run through and up there with the cue ball for the 8. He needs to get there though, and he's chickened out and he's hung the 7. Well, Killer Cat has an easy out. This for the match. And victory at 7 racks to 3. And DJ Redo moves over to the 1 loss side. We'll have a quick look at the bracket. And we'll see that Larry is now playing LS3. Now that's going to be interesting to watch, because LS3 is a 2,000 odd rated player. He's getting the 8 ball against Larry. Larry's up 2-1. Spectre Dawn is waiting to play Killer Cat. And on the 1 loss side, you notice how these, I mean, that one there has got the little eye icon that you can join the room. But these ones on the 1 loss side, unless the bracket's still to update, they don't have it for some strange reason. Anyway, back in, we'll watch the remainder of this match with Larry and LS3. LS3, a 2081 rated player, getting the 8 ball. Sorry, the 6 ball, is it? 6 ball. And the 6 ball is locked up with the 8. And Larry managed to just try to bend that cue ball to make the 4. Didn't quite judge it right. But LS3's got the problem to deal with. And he's took the risk and he's drawn into the 6 and the 7 and the 8, but we can all see the result. He's going to have to jump the 6. And the other problem is, I don't know this, I thought the 8 was blocking it. The 6 is open to that corner. He's going to have to get lucky to get on it. So escapes the snooker, but the 5 is on. And Larry with a wide open table. If he can get on this 6, he should run out. And we know the 6 goes past the 8, no problem, so a little draw off the 7. In fact, he wants to make sure he gets up to this middle pocket here with this 7 ball when he draws back. Get the cue ball at least to the middle pocket, and that makes it easier to control the cue ball because it's got less distance to travel to get out into the table for the 9. You can either go up to the left middle pocket or just come back across the table with a more natural shot because the cue ball's got the momentum to get there. So now he's got a pretty straight 9. And so Larry takes his chance, and it's 3-1. So, you know, players at 2,000 rating getting that money ball, at some point in the match they're going to have to prove themselves and take a chance like what Larry had there and pot at least 3 or 4 balls. We'll see if LS3 gets his opportunity to prove that. What's that he's saying? Wow, Laz, I take it that's his nickname for Larry. We've got the cast of Ben Hur in for this one. How Benny's in the room. Well, if you're talking about 2 players plus 3 spectators, that's hardly the cast of Ben Hur. And needless to say, a typical response from Larry. Absolutely nothing. Well, he's got a tight angle here. Going to have to let the cue ball travel and just hope he leaves himself open to the 4, because again, at the pace he's potting the 3 at, with this thin cut, it's running all around the table. Well, he's trying to hold it, and that's a good shot. Lots of drag on it just to kill it. Well, it would have been simple to pot the 4 and just pot the 5 into the left middle if the 7 ball wasn't there. So the question is whether he's prepared to risk any great movement in the cue ball here. And he's leaving is he leaving it awkward? I think he is. He's going to be hampered here. But he doesn't have to do anything with the cue ball. He just has to focus on potting the 5. He's going to have a long 6 ball in the top left. And now there's a problem. And the problem is he can't just... I don't know whether he wants to be leaving himself down the rail here, but he needs to play this at a certain weight, either to get out into the table to take the 7, or to leave it lying near enough the rail to make it easy to pot the 7 into this far corner pocket. Well, he's came back, and that's the safest shot. You don't want to do something stupid and find that you're out there trying to pot the 7 down the rail and you're going to scratch. So a simple roll in the 8 and a little run through, and Larry's going to be 4-1 up. And we've yet to see anything responsive here from LS3. Going to have to do something fairly sharpish. Larry's broken off in rack number 6. 5 ball is going into the top right. And I think he might have a 1-4 combo nailed here. Look at this. Dead set pretty much to the jaw, I think. No, in fact, that's dead set. That's got to go in. And then again, maybe it isn't. Did go to the jaw. Well, it's going to have to be a delicate cut in the one into the middle to be able to again hold for this 2-ball at the bottom end of the table. He's played it well. And what's more, he's got the nice little angle where he can draw between the 3 and the 7. He can run it across the table, but the simplest shot is a little draw shot. And he's running, and the danger there's running behind another ball, but he's away. He's okay, but he's dead straight, I think. I think he's got a very slight angle. But can he force this in with enough pace to get the cue ball out? To get on the 4. The 4's under his cue. And he's okay. Well, you would think this is a must-win here for LS3. Getting it back to 4-2, he's still in with a chance. And that 6 ball, being the money ball, gets the job done. So it's back to 4-2. But the break, come up dry again. Oh dear. Now, what the hell name is that? Tertiary adjunct. Oh, that's going to finish awkward, is it? Well, it is awkward. It's a blind cut down the rail. Playing it pocket weight to hold for the 4. Is it getting there? Yes, it is. And now a little punch. Now you can either go forward or back here, whatever he's comfortable with. A little punch around the corner. Needs to get out a bit further. And that's a decent enough angle. It's all about pace again. Just into the middle of the table. On the left hand side, more or less where the cue ball is now, would do perfectly. Needs to get off the rail though. And he's dead straight. So it's going to be a trickle dead weight shot in the 6 to just drop behind the 7. And he's just gone to the blind side slightly. And the other problem is he still remembered to hold for this 8 ball. So it's a little stunny draw across the table here. Whether he's got enough on it to be able to hold it this side of the 8. No. But in goes the 7. And it's still not cut and dried yet. This is a little tester. Is he just going to draw it in and leave the 9 into the right middle, or is he going to go up the table? 9 into the middle. And so Larry stretches his lead even further. And there's the result. Through from the 1 loss side. Popman has beaten Simanx by 4 racks to 1. Meanwhile, Larry's broke off in rack number 9. Something went in. It was the 3 ball, and he's on the 1. And the 2 ball, well, that 2 ball goes down the rail, and it might go down the rail either way here. It can squeeze past the 5, but if he can get up there, if it keeps travelling, and I think he's played that well, he's judged the pace well, and he's in perfect position. A little punchy stun, and he's on the 4. Well, he's actually overcooked that slightly. That's now gone out of shape. This is not pretty. Right. Is LS3 going to get a chance to get himself back into this match? By the way these balls are sitting, I don't think he's going to get much chance in this rack. The only thing it might be wrong there is that might be a bit straight, this 6 ball. Well, it is, but he's okay. He can just draw it straight back. And as long as he doesn't overcook it and hook himself behind the 8, he should be fine. Two choices again. Risky to run the cue ball around because he can hit the 9. Or he can just stun out and across and leave the 8 into the middle. Or, if he can play it softly enough, he can leave it long. I think it'd be simplest just to leave it long. But if he's going to run around, he has to avoid that 9. And he's avoided it, no problem. Well, this is what, twice across the table, I would say, for comfort. Or is he going to try and drop it in dead weight? Two choices in how you go about this. But either way, he's going to leave himself high in the 9 if he does that. And he's played it with inside English to get himself onto the 9 left side as we look, and that's perfect. And Larry, well, he's now got what you would look at the board and say is an unassailable lead. 6 racks to 2. And breaking off in rack number 9. I think the 4 ball has gone in. Is that the 4? No, that's the 2. But it's hung up. It's dry. And, well, this could be LS3's last visit to the table here. All these balls are open. And it's going to have to be a jump over the 3. Oh dear. That spin. The momentum and the spin kept going. And it's a scratch, and like I say, that may well be LS3's last visit. Larry's got ball in hand. And already he's plotted his way out on this rack. Little draw. Now if he's straight in the 4, well, he might even just brush onto the 6 here, but if he just goes forward, he'll have a long 5 down the rail there. He just wants to brush onto the 6. Well, he's gone the other side of it, but he's okay. And enough angle on this to get the cue ball over to the right. Still going to have to punch it in though. And that's decent enough pace. Again, as he got the angle. Yeah, and I think he's okay to avoid the 9. He's not going to run into the 9. And Larry's just looking to get anywhere here to have a shot in the 7. And he's got a thinnish one. Now he needs a wee bit of dig in this just to avoid scratching the cue ball. And that'll do it. As long as you get this side of the 8, he's got the perfect angle. Well, it looks like it. But you can just drop it in and roll through to that left rail and then tuck the 9 away. So Larry is marching through in the winner's side. He could have done a wee bit more than that. And in goes the 9. Well, LS3, whatever opportunities he got there weren't many. And that's why he's lost 7-2. So he'll go over to the one loss side. And we'll have a look at the bracket if I can get the damn thing to work. And let's see. Well, Larry is now waiting on the winner of the match between Killer Cat, and Spectre Dawn. Oh, the wee things are up now, I notice. And there is Christian playing DJ Redo in the one loss side. Christian getting the big handicap. And Senny should be about to play Potman by the looks of it. And we'll go in and watch that match. Now, hang on a minute here. Who's in the room? Potman's in the room. Now, Senny has been known to do disappearing acts in the past. And it has to be said that unless my eyes are deceiving me, Senny ain't about. So that match might very quickly end up in a forfeit. Yeah, I don't see him there, so I think Potman will be out of that room in a minute or two. It looks like it. I don't see him. Right, no, definitely not there. So, right, we'll look at this match between Killer Cat and Spectre Dawn. And Spectre Dawn is 4 racks to 2 up. And player 1, who's Killer Cat, is getting a 6 ball. I think he can still see the 5, can he? Can he just see it? Yes, he can. But he needs to get up the table for this 6 into the middle. Well, that's weak. That's weak by 2 feet. You mean a big, huge area, a big margin of error, a big chunk of the table, a quarter of the table he could have got into there. And he's left himself in no man's land. And Killer Cat has blown his chance for this rack. But that's what I was talking about earlier. I mean, you had all of this area here to get that cue ball into when you're playing that shot there. So the cue ball has enough pace to get up there, and that object ball was there. And there's the big area that players are just failing to judge the pace to get a cue ball into. You just look at the table and your conscience tells you where you have to put that cue ball. And there is a huge, huge margin of error to be able to judge the pace to get that cue ball into that zone. And so, Spectre Dawn has taken his chance when given it, and he's now leading 5-2. So just a reminder, if anybody's still awake and still watching, we'll be going all the way with this tournament tonight. I don't go back to work till Monday, so I'll be up to the early hours, no doubt, as long as I stay awake. Once I get through that sort of wanting to go to bed period, where my brain wants to shut down. Once I get through that, I'm okay. I might be able to hold out. I'll certainly be holding out for the rest of the tournament. Well, it already looks that Spectre Dawn is going to be the biggest threat to Larry, you would think. Both of them still, of course, on the winner's side. And Spectre Dawn looking to be the favourite to go through here. Now, once again, the sensible shot is off the rail and out. There's the area you want the cue ball in. Anywhere there, at least you've got a shot in the 6. Well, that was all but a disaster, wasn't it? But a simple roll in the 6. And now, this is where the 6 ball money ball comes in handy. It's back to 5-3. A ball went in, I heard something go. And the 8 ball has gone. And Killer Cat's got a shot in the 1. Doesn't have to do any with the cue ball. The 2's over the left middle. And a little thin snick in the 2, and he's across for the 3. This is the things that you should be thinking about when you're playing your shot. Because that's all you have to do. The little snick on the 2. Now the 3 is a similar shot, but you just don't want to be hooking yourself behind the 5. So rather than do that, he's hooked himself behind the 7. Because he's let the cue ball get away. And immediately your chance is gone unless you can dig out a jump and pot this 4. And he should still have a shot in the 5 here if he gets this. And he's failed in the jump. Took another ball out instead. And given ball in hand to Spectre Dawn with 1 less ball to pot to take him to the hill. And this is shelling peas, as we say in this country, or taking candy from a baby. It's so easy to run out, and it's only going to be an almighty error that will prevent Spectre Dawn from taking this rack out. So it's 6-3. Well, I remembered somebody told me it was somebody under a different name. It's Wanwa. And there's another result just came in from the 1 loss side. Christian has won against DJ Redo by 4 racks to 1. That semi match must be going ahead. I haven't seen a result. Oh, Spectre Dawn. Oh, no, that's right. No, I'm mixing myself up. No, I don't know. I haven't a clue. Let's have a look. It's probably somebody else under a... Yes, Senny did forfeit. I never saw the result going up. Right, so it's ball in hand to Killer Cat. A little roll through in the 1. He has to do something to move that 3 ball, because the 3 ball isn't potting anywhere. And he has to leave himself an angle on the 2. He needs to kill the cue ball. He's letting the cue ball run while he's nudged the 3, and it's only good luck and good fortune that's given him a shot in the 2, because the outcome there was up in the air after he let that cue ball run forward. Well, you do it simple again, just a little roll in the 3, get the cue ball up the table. It's going to be a long 4. Well, it's more than likely somebody else in a different profile, or they've changed their name. Well, all I can say is, I mean, I've never been in the notion of changing my name in any game. I've had the same name in Virtual Pool since let me think. Would it be 1990? When I think 1990 when I first came online, I think. No, wait a minute. When did VP3 come out? Was it 2000? But even before then, I've had the same name. It's never crossed my mind to ever muck about and change my name. Well, we could still have a match on here. It's back to 6-4. Ball's going in the break. What's gone this time? The 8 ball again. No shot in the 1. But plenty of cover up the top end of the table if he can go thin off the 1. Off the short side here and get back up the table. Well, he's missed it on the way up and kicked it behind. So that's gone wrong. Now he should be in trouble here. Because likewise for Spectre Dawn, if he can brush the right side of that 1 thin and miss the 9 ball, he can tuck the cue ball right up in the top right hand corner here. But he's went all out for the cut in the 1. No shot in the 2 though. But that's the next best outcome. Played a good safety. And well, this possibly could be Killer Cat's last shot here. Well, he's looking to try and kick at the 2. He's certainly not going to be kicking it for that end. Is it not easier to go past the 9 and bank onto the 2 from the left-hand side of the table? Let's have a look. Well, to me, the easiest shot, there's your guide. That diamond there to hit the 2. Or just before the diamond. I mean, the kick is on there for that shot. So he's played the deliberate foul. He's not tied up any balls. He's given Spectre Dawn ball in hand to roll in the 2 and go on the 3. And I don't know what the thinking was with that shot that Killer Cat played. Because if you're going to play a deliberate foul in that situation, the first priority is make sure you lock a ball up and make it more difficult for your opponent to run out. He's not done anything there. So what he had in mind has totally baffled me. This isn't easy. This 4 ball. It's just got to judge the potting angle. And it was never an easy shot. But Killer Cat gets how many lives has Killer Cat got? Well, he's certainly using them up. But he's got another chance here. He doesn't want to draw into the left middle pocket. Needs to be careful. Draw up to the left hand side. That middle pocket's in danger. And he's held the point there. Just nudged onto the point. Well, this is crucial. Got to get out. The cue ball's running away. Now, what does he do? Well, if he plays this right and gentle, he's going to roll the 6 in and brush past the 7 and leave it long. Oh, he's done neither. He's done neither because he's fell well short of where he should have been on that 7. He should have been out off the rail. And that is definitely his last shot. Well, if you're not going to do anything heroic, you just roll the 7 in and take the 9 into the left middle. He's running through and he's gone high and he's just making it a wee bit more difficult for himself. So Killer Cat is just hoping he misses. That's true, I forgot about that again, the 6 ball. But anyway, it's all too late now. Spectre Dawn is through. So let's have a look at the bracket. And we can see that Larry and Spectre Dawn are matched up. The one lost side, well, all of the bracket is filled there, so those matches will be going ahead. Killer Cat's about to play Popman, and Christian is 2-1 up against LS3, but the match we're going to be watching, without a doubt, is going to be the favourite and the second favourite for the tournament, it has to be said. And well, it's fair to say that Larry's going to be tested, or his first big test tonight. It's certainly not against a handicap. He's still going to be given a handicap, but not much against Spectre Dawn. And we're just waiting on him joining the room. I'll have a quick drink. Now, looking at Larry, I would think Larry's going to be giving him the, what, maybe just the 8 ball, I would think. There's a strong possibility he should be just giving him the 8 ball. If it was going to be a really generous handicap, might be giving him the 7, but he's not going to give it any more than that. I was actually, before the matches, before the tournament started, I was on that Restream website, which is a site that everybody uses to stream their broadcast to multiple outputs. So, for example, I'm streaming to YouTube and Twitch at the same time. I actually went to add Mixer to it, but because I've got I'm registered with Mixer, but I can't get my head round the way their channel. I don't even know where my channel is on that site. I've never used it, but I tried to use it tonight, but I very quickly gave up on the idea. So I was going to add a third streaming channel, but we won't bother with that. But here we go. We're all set for the lag. I think Larry's in the right. Larry's actually got the same queue as I've got, I just noticed. He's got that Prisoner of War missing in action queue, the one that's about 3,000 V dollars or something like that. I have to mention that I never paid for mine. I got mine as a test while we were doing testing in VP4 and got mine for nothing. Because there's no bloody way. I was paying 3,000 odd credits or 30 quid for a queue. Get yourself lost in that idea. Right, what did I say? I said I guessed he'd be getting the 6, the 7 or the 8, so he's getting the 8 ball, which is fair enough. That's a fair enough handicap. A good first shot by Larry. 9 balls helped him there. Held him on the 3. And straight away, it's wide open. So if Larry can get a round on this 4 ball, this rack is over. Now this is straightforward enough. Get anywhere over on the left hand side of the table. Just go forward and off the right rail where the 7 ball is, and over to the left. And he's going to have a little angle. And again, the simple shot to do would be just drop the 5 in and leave the 6 long. If he starts running the cue ball around the table, he's going to be leaving the 6 long into the same pocket as the 5. So he's got choices available here as to what he's going to be most comfortable with. So he's gone around. Big area again to get the cue ball into, and that will do nicely. So the next shot is anything but straight on this 7 ball. Any angle, and he can get nice and comfortable on the 8 ball. And he's got the angle, but it's still going to have to be a punch. And we know what happens with these pockets. If you just send it offline into that jaw, it's going to hang up. So it's a little punch. Now if he's playing the draw off this 7 onto the rail, the danger's gone too far out behind the 9. And he's came out, he could have done a wee bit further, but if he just pots this sort of dead weight, that 9 ball's going into the right hand middle pocket. If he pots it with more pace, he's going to leave the 9 long into the same pocket as the 8. And, well, he's managed to hold it. He's got a shot into the middle. Well, Larry just got his 1 chance, and that's all he needs. That's the first rack in the board. And a couple of balls have gone in. 3 balls have went in. We've lost the 3, the 5 and the 8. And this rack is over, guys. That's the worst thing that can happen when you're playing somebody of quality. Larry is he gets 3 or 4 balls in the break and the balls are all lying wide open. Forget it. You ain't coming to the table. Well, there still might be a chance here because that's gone wrong. He's gone dead straight in the 2, so he can only come back the way, and he can't really go forward. If he goes forward, he's going to be running off the rail into the 6. Let's see what he does. Is he going to leave a bank? Is he going to try and draw up? He's going to go for the deep draw, and he's going to leave the awkward 4. So Spectre Dawn better get his Q-tip chalked here. He might have a chance. It all hinges in this one. Is that cheating the pocket enough? Oh, it just crept in. Well, there's another result. Well, Christian, who we watched in the first match, is getting the most of his handicap now in the 1 loss side. He's now beaten LS3 in a final rack decider. Now, well, there's a wee angle there. So he can just go forward. Not too much English at all needed in this. Just to come off that rail and over to the left. Don't think he needs anything helping. He just needs to go forward. It's going to take its natural path here. That needs to keep going. Well, that needed another 3 or 4 inches for comfort, but it should be okay. So Larry has been faultless in the first 2 racks, and that's basically doing what's expected of a 2000, almost 300 rated player. And this time though, I think he's come up dry. Oh no, 3 ball has gone. But no shot in the 1. It won't bank because the 5 blocking that path, and he can't cut it either. So he could go for an ambitious reverse bank here on the 1, or go for the safety, and he's went for the safety, and that is a good shot. Spectre Dawn blocked out, and I don't know whether he can kick that from the left hand side either, because the 8 ball's in the way. Is he going to try and get in the gap between the 8 and the 9? Can he get that 1 for that angle? My natural instinct says no, he can't. He could try playing it with left English. Oh, he's managed to hit it. He's managed to squeeze it there. And he's got the next best outcome as well. He's got it pretty safe. You need that wee bit of luck. Tournament's been on for just over 2 hours. Larry going for the reverse bank, and he's on the 2. A bit straight on it. There's a wee bit of angle there, and whether or not he can actually draw off this and miss the 5 and draw over to the left, I don't know. It could be forward. It needs to get a bit more juice into it though. He's leaving himself high. Well, it's all going to hinge on the 8 ball, isn't it? Because Spectre Dawn's money ball has gone, 6 ball has gone. Larry's on the 5, but the 8 ball is in an awkward position. Well, the angle he's got in this 7, he's got to play this to get in the middle of that 8 and 9 here. Off the side rail and back across, and the closer he can get to that rail, the easier it will be for him. Oh, he's going to go the wrong side. Well, there's a lifeline here for Spectre Dawn. Larry can play the little kick onto the 8 and just kill the 8 on that rail. Now Spectre Dawn going to have a go at the bank. It's off the rail. So he should avoid a double kiss here. And he's gone for it. Is it going to double? Yes, it is. So Spectre Dawn is going to steal the third rack here. And in fact, that was his. It was 6 and out, isn't it? I read that wrong. No, it's the 8 ball, isn't it? My eyes are bloody terrible. Aye, it's the 8 ball. Well, that's where the handicap did work there. Had to take the opportunity. With that 8 ball being slightly off the rail, it made the bank much easier to make. Now, is Larry going to try the billiard from the 1 on to the 4? No, he's trying to sneak that 1 past the 4. Didn't manage that. Spectre Don can actually thin cut the 1. He needs to watch the scratch, but he may well have a shot in the 2 after it though. As long as it doesn't keep running to that rail, he might still be able to cut this in. Can he see enough of it? Oh yes, he can. Yeah, he can pot that. Pardon me. But can he avoid the 8 ball? I think he can do that as well. But can he avoid the 4? Well, he's trying to draw away from it. Well, this is another toughie. 3 balls off the rail again. Well, everything's going to belong here because he's not going to try and do too much here with this 4 ball. Just pot it. And it'll belong for the 6. Just roll the 5 in. And now he's got a slight problem. He's ended up straight again on this 6 ball. Well, if you take your medicine, you just pot the 6. Well, he's managed to squeeze an angle. And here's the crucial one. He's pretty straight in the 7. And he needs to watch the draw here. And he's played it well. He's given himself a reasonable chance in the 8. So, a blistering start from Larry. Racing into a 2-0 lead. Now, what's Spectre Don done here? Well, that has ended up not too bad because I thought it was going to scratch. But it's now 2-all. Another yawn. And the break is dry. It's going to be a 1-8 combo to start off with for Larry. And at the angle that he's putting this 1 onto the 8, the 1's going to go towards the 6. Well, that's a bonus. Got that plumb perfect there. It looked like the potting angle in that ball was just going to drift that 1 ball away. But the 1 going in as well saves a lot of hard work. So Larry will be looking to capitalise on his chance here. Because once again, there's no excuse. It all hinges on getting from the 6 ball up to the 7. And this is one of these shots that I talk about frequently. When Larry's playing this 6, assuming he's playing it from there, the worst thing that's going to happen is if he goes that way or that way and he goes long. If he gets behind the 7, that always leads to problems. So it's so important to judge his pace right, and this is a perfect example of where it can go wrong. So what you're trying to do here is is finish there or there. You don't want to be here. Now is he going to get to the line? And that'll be acceptable, because at least he's got the shot, and it's so simple now to get back down the table for the 9. I mean, he doesn't have to do nothing. It's just about the pace of shot. And that will do it. So Larry has redressed the situation, or addressed the situation, is that the word? And he's gone back into the lead. Breaking open rack number 6. Now, one ball went into the right middle, but unfortunately he's got no shot on the 2, and he'll just be looking. Well, there's no really many places he can go for a push out either here, because it's so easy just to clip the 2 onto the 5. It's difficult to actually play a push and push it safe. You can try and finish on the 8 ball, but it's still going to leave a cut. Well, he's potted the 8, but it's still a cut. Well, is he playing the billiard, or is he playing the cut on this? He's played the cut. In goes the 5, and he's blocked out on the 2. That's unlucky, but you need that bit of running in your favour. And now he needs more running here. He needs to get it safe, and he's using the 7 as a blocker. Let's go up and have a look. Well, Larry's already made his mind up, I'm fairly certain. He could use the 7 as a blocker and just try and run back up the table. He's going thin. Well, there's no pot on, but once again the 8 ball can be used as a blocker if you go that way with the cue ball and come back down. That 8 ball, if you hit it plumb, well, he's hit that far too hard. Cue ball running away. I mean, that actually, if you look at where the 2's finished, that 2's finished perfect. If he'd played it with the right pace, though, the cue ball would have come down here and finished here, or thereabouts in this area. But it's given Larry a chance. It's a thin one on the rail. So difficult to judge. And the cue ball was just sneaking past the 3 as well. Inspector Don, assuming he's got a jump cue, would find this no problem, but he looks more keen to try and kick this. And he's missed the kick. Well, there's a surprise. I thought, like most players, he'd have been out with the jump stick there. And it's a ball in hand start for Larry. Already leading 3-2. And this one's finished a bit straight as well, so he's got more work to do with the cue ball. 4 balls slightly awkward, been adjacent to the 6. Well, this is a bit fiddly. It's a wee tester to judge the pace of this pot in the 4, and the cue ball, well, it looks to me like it's heading towards that jaw of the middle pocket. When he's going the other way, he's cutting it into the middle. And It just creeps in. And he's got another difficult one to pull out here. This is another toughie. Yeah. You can only keep potting so many of those. So, it is a chance for Spectre Dawn. Just the 6 ball and the 8 ball to pot to get it back all square. Where's the cue ball going? Is okay. So Larry just getting himself slightly out of shape. Well, that was a 7 ball, wasn't it? Aye, the 8 ball's already gone. My concentration's beginning to wander here. I'm forgetting whose money ball's what and what money ball it is. But I do know the score is 3 racks all. And we've got a match on. And we've got a mess as well. And Larry, well, does he try and pot the 1 or does he just play mean and dirty? I know what I'd be doing because that 2 ball's locked up. You can play the aggressive shot and try and pot the 1, but it's not easy to get any happy outcome with this shot. And he's took the risk and it's worked out. And there's a result in from the 1 loss side, and Popman has beaten Killer Cat by 4 racks to 1. So Popman is marching on. Now I think Larry is in the top side of that 3. Let's have a look. It's difficult to see what he's doing here. Well, he's looking to just run down here. There's not much else he can do with the cue ball, but he's got a bit more angle than he would like to be able to do that shot. Can he get into the space? Well, that is probably the best possible outcome you could hope for. He's landed plumb on the 4. Can just see enough of it. And can get himself across for the 5. Now you notice how I haven't been in any of your matches yet, Popman, because then you can't blame me for jinxing you. Well, this is again giving Larry not many options. He can be really aggressive and try and force the 5 in and get that cue ball moving up the table, but he could leave himself the pot into the middle by just rolling the 5 in. Let's see what he does. And he's just put the 5 in. He's going to leave the cut in the 6, and he's going to be out into the table for the 7. Well, choices as to what you do here as well. You can just cut the 8 and go across to the right and leave the 9 long into the bottom right, or you can go forward and around and out and leave the 9 ball long into the top right. So he's gone on the short side, and well, he shouldn't have any problem rolling this in. So this to take the lead again. And he's overdone it, has he? Oh, he just went in off the jaw. But it's a lead. It's a lead and a dry break in rack number 8. There's a bank on in the 1. It's going to have to be made though. Don't think it's dead set, but he's played it well. Now here is a chance for Spectre Dawn to respond. Now again with this shot, you don't want to be over ambitious. You play the little draw and the little punch on the 3 and just get the cue ball out to have a shot in the 4. The problem is the 5. It's very tight for comfort to get that 5 past the 8 there. So he's got to make his decision on what he's planning on this 5 ball. It will go, but it is difficult to get good on it. So he's trying to go the short side of it and cut it into the middle, I think. But look at where the 6 is. So now he's got a straight choice. He can go for the cut. If he's going to play a bank at that angle, he's going to have to make the bank. It's not sitting perfect. So if he plays the cut, it's going to be a long cut in the 6. And this can all go wrong with the pace in this cue ball here. If he pots this 6, he does not want to finish down here. He wants to try and keep that into the table. If he's avoided the 9, he's laughing. That's perfect. So this will be a good message to send to Larry. So Spectre Dawn has responded. And we're back all square. We've got a match on. Crying out for a ball in a break. And no joy. And look at the way these balls have spread. I mean, come on. This is a run out every day of the week. That's the worst possible feeling when you break, and you break them good, and you end up dry. And worst of all, you leave your opponent plumb on a ball to start off with. And the 2 ball down the side rail. 3 ball into the right middle. 4 ball into the top left hand corner. A good angle to bring the cue ball down to this bottom rail for the 5. 6 ball in the middle of the table. 7 in the middle of the table. And 8 ball into the bottom right hand corner, and then out for the 9. This rack's over. Absolutely nothing you can do about it. You come up dry in the break. They're all spread all over the place. And you've got absolutely nothing in response other than waiting for the next rack. Just has to judge the pace right here. This is a wee testy one, getting up for the 6. And that's getting there. Okay, it's the wrong side of the 6, but no immediate alarm bells ringing. Big wide open table to get that cue ball in a position where he's got a shot in the 7. He could probably just roll through. The cue ball's rolling away, but if he just rolls through, well, he's stunned it. So he's actually gone a higher angle than is comfortable. You see, this is where, if he'd rolled that through, the cue ball was rolling away, but when it's rolling away, it would be rolling away that way. So it's going further up that way, but the angle's getting shallower, whereas the angle's steeper, where Larry's finished off. And this is where it's a wee bit testy. But in it goes. And the angle's there as well. Punch the 8 in, got off the rail and over to the left. But don't get too ambitious and don't risk the scratch into the left middle. Just leave the 9 long. Well, he's trying to draw it across. He's getting there. So it's Larry from the break. Spectred on. Broke off. Perfect break. Balls all split perfectly. And nothing goes in the hole. And that's an open invitation for players like Larry just to clear up. So this time Larry's broke off. And Larry's broke dry as well. But these, well, the first shot's awkward. And the 2 balls in no great position to help with the run out. It does go past the 5 though, but it's just awkward because the angle he's potting the 1 at, he's going to be hitting something. He'd be extremely fortunate to avoid any collision here with any ball. And he's missed the 1. Now, this is thin. And Larry's got no idea where the cue ball's going to end up. It's going to end up somewhere over on the right hand side, but it could be blocked out. And I think he was just hoping for a good outcome. Got a simple enough safety shot. Is he looking at a bank? Because the bank is makeable. No, that wasn't an attempt at the bank. He's looking for cover. I don't know whether he's quite got there. No, he hasn't. But even if Spectre Don pots this too, he's going to have... well, if he can get in that left side there, he will have a shot in the 3. But he needs to avoid hitting the 8. And now his extension has gone. And he's got the cut. He's over on the left hand side as we look. But it's a high angle cut here, but the 3 does go. And he may well be able to squat round behind that 5. Yep, he's avoided the 5. He's found a gap. And got the shot in the 4. So this is shaping up to be a possible run out now. So the crucial shot will be from the 7 to the 8. That needs to slow down. He's gone a wee bit further. Well, with this shot, you just play a little draw and make sure you pot the 6, because you've got to have a shot in the 7. And as I say, this is the important one. Getting good from the 7 to the 8. And likewise, having a good angle to get down onto the 9. And that has just gone too far. It's neither here nor there. He's got to cut it into the middle. And he's decided to take his medicine. And it was never a shot to take long, but of course with that being the money ball, that's the only one he needed, and we're back all square. So now it's definitely a match. This time again, Spectre Dawn has broke. The balls are broken perfect, but unlike the rack, not just before, but the one before that one, he's actually got a ball in the break and he's sitting plumb. Easy to drop onto this 5 ball into the left middle. That needs to just slow down a bit. He's just running away from the 6 here, but he still has it long. And as long as he gets close to the rail, he's got a good angle in the 6 to run around and get down here for the 7. Well, this is now an important visit because he's got to get... That's going a bit straight. He's now having to force things a bit more with this angle. Played it well, checked the cue ball up. So it would come back down this left hand side. And just looking for a straight in shot in the 8. So this is a bit of a turnaround. Spectre Dawn with the 8 ball to go to the hill. Well, what a turnaround there, and two different outcomes. He breaks off 2 racks before, gets a perfect break, no ball in the break, and Larry clears up. And then this time he breaks, balls break perfect again, gets a ball in the break, and he backs it up all the way and runs out. Well, that's a way to respond. So now Larry's got it all to do. The break this time though has come up dry, and what's more, Larry's got no shot in the 1. And we've got a cluster of balls at the top end of the table. They're going nowhere. Well, there's the result came in on the 1 loss side, and Christian, who we saw in that first match, and who's been getting fairly generous handicaps throughout the tournament, and he's put out Popman by 4 racks to 1. But he's really still going to be up against it, whoever he plays next. So now it's gone hill. Larry breaking off in the final and deciding rack. And this time Larry's come up dry. It's going to have to be a 2-7 combo, looking at the way they're set up. That's dead set. That's provided you can get the 2 and get a shot, get the 1 and get a shot on the 2. Well, this is going to have to be thin. Needs a bit of luck. I'd have preferred that cue ball just to nudge into the 2. But anyway, the next best thing is a good safety. Thin on the 2 on the left hand side as we look. But is he playing the reverse bank? It looks like it. And that is plumb. That's perfect. But needs another good one. Now, if he plays it plain ball, he's running behind the 8 and coming out into the middle of the table on the right hand side, and that will do nicely. And the next problem, well, how is he on this 4? If he goes forward and around and into the middle of the table, he wants to leave a straight 5-6 combo. That's surely the shot it's got to be, and it needs to slow up. He's gone too far. Still got the shot, just has to focus on potting the 5 ball really, because it's dead straight on to the 6. Well, Spectre Dawn has been getting use of this 8 ball money ball, because this is going to give him the match. And Spectre Dawn has beaten Larry by 7 racks to 6. And so Larry moves across to the 1 lost side final. And he'll be playing Christian, I think, if my memory serves me right. And that was Christian that he beat in his first match. And the same handicap it will be again for Christian, but this time it's only a race to 4, and Larry's going to have to be careful. The room is up. And Christian is already there. Larry's maybe taking a break, going to the bathroom, going for a drink. He's going to get 5 minutes to get into the room. He'll get his audible warning letting him know the room is up. And if he fails to join the room, it will time out and Larry will forfeit. But in he comes, and off we go with the lag. What? 1567. Well, he is a 1567 player. Because, I mean, again, no disrespect to the guy, but he plays like a 1500 player. If you watch the first match with him and Larry, he's got a lot to learn. And the thing is once once Larry's committed and got that first ball, well, maybe he's learnt a lot during his run through the 1 lost side. But once Larry's made that commitment, the pressure's on to get the run out, because he knows that as soon as he makes that mistake, we're right down to the business end from 5 and out. Well, 5 balls disappeared, but you know what I mean. So Larry comfortably strolls through the first rack. And all that Spectre Don has to hope for is that Larry makes a mistake. So it's a dry break. Now, two ways of going about this shot. If you leave the 3 long, it's got to be fairly straight into that top left so you can roll through for the 4 into the top right. But if you play it so that you've got an angle in the 3, you can get the cue ball out into the table. And that's sort of neither here nor there. He's got a slight angle, but once again, he's going to have to punch it to get the cue ball out. And he's pretty much got there. A bit more of an angle on the 4 than he would really have desired, but he's still got the shot and plenty of room to get the cue ball around the table or into the table for a shot in the 5. And again, that was a well-controlled shot. Killed the pace. Stopped the cue ball running away. And a nice little angle in the 5. I think he can draw up to the left here. It looks like it from where we're looking. Try and get on that 6 either into this corner or into the right middle. Now that's reasonable. It's 2 choices again. Can either go forward or a little stun, a little draw back. Take that 7 ball into either the left or the right hand corner. Now, that 8 ball is married to the rail, more or less. So this is the critical shot, is getting the angle on this 8. And this is where it's got to be punched in. Got to have enough pace to get that cue ball moving. And he looks as if he's playing the draw. But that's going to have to run. And where the cue ball's finished, he's got the dilemma of playing the thin cut along the rail or in making a bank shot. It looks like the cut. And Larry goes 2-0 in front. Well, Christian's already just, in that sentence there, he's just pointed out exactly what you have to aspire to do, is to get better cue ball control. That makes your life so much easier at any of these games. Now the 6 ball's going down. One ball banked clean. Well, looks like a straight kill shot in the 2 here, just to leave the 3 long as well. 4 balls over the left middle pocket, so nothing to do with the cue ball. Well, this has got 3-0 written all over it. Can't see where the problem's going to be here. Now, he wants to keep that cue ball the top side of the table as we look, and that's what he's done, because that way he can just pot the 4 and come off the rail and out for the 5 into the right middle. He's not having to let the cue ball run about the table. Now, how's that finished? Well, that's perfect as well, because again, a little kill shot, and he'll be staring down the 7 ball. Well, as far as I can remember, and somebody will correct me if I'm wrong, in the first 3 racks, Christian has played 1 shot. He's had 1 shot at a ball. So Larry breaks off in rack number 4, and this looks like Christian's going to, well, he's coming to the table. No, Larry's potted 8 in the break. I'm sure Christian will be relieved at that, but Larry's got a close jump shot in the 1. It's straight into the middle. If the cue ball bounces, and it hasn't really, but Larry, he can't bank it, but he can certainly reverse bank it and past the 3. He can try and tuck the cue ball behind the 4. He could bank it onto the side rail and try and punch the 9 in. So he's got 3 choices here as to what he does. He looks as if he's going for the left bank, and in it goes. And this match is over, folks. It's done. Well, it might not be done. Let's have a look at that that 6 ball. Well, the 9 ball's off the jaws, so it's easy enough to make the combo. Well, that's gone a wee bit fiddly. I think he's okay. So the 6 onto the 9, and we know the 9 cleanly goes, no problem. This match is done and dusted, and Larry wins it by 4 racks to 0. And so it's a very quick rematch here. Let's have a quick look at the bracket, see how the final bracket stands. We see that Larry has gone through, and it's going to be an immediate rematch between Larry and Spectre Dawn. This bracket, I hate this bloody bracket. I must say that every week as well. So it's going to be Larry and Spectre Dawn in the final, and it's going to be Spectre Dawn getting the 8 ball. Excuse me. And the room is up. And I'm going to go in the room, and I'm probably going to miss the hopefully that's because the balls are moving about that I'm syncing up to join the room right. I'm probably going to miss the lag because I'm going to take a bathroom break. I'll be back in 2 minutes. Right, finals underway. We're back. Final is a race to 9. And Spectre Dawn, player 1 in the HUD, he's getting the 8 ball again. So this is Larry's chance to redeem himself, having lost in that final rack decider against Spectre Dawn. Well, that's gone out of shape. Well, he's managed to thin cut it in. You need another good bit of fortune here to have any sort of shot in this 3. And there's nothing doing. Well, he's played the bank. So he's gone all out here to get a good start. Oh dear. Well, it's all falling apart in that shot. When was that? Was that like 7 years ago when VP4 was in development? because I never heard anything about that at the time that we were testing. I mean, the thing is, if you told me they'd been doing that and it was done recently, then I could believe it, because I could believe that you know, he was maybe doing something to test tracking lines, because that no, well, the only way I would see him, you know, Steve doing something like that now would be in a response to Shooter's Pool, where, you know, you can set a room with, you've got choices to what you do. You can have it with the aim restriction on, which means that you're aiming higher down on the cue stick, or you can have aim restriction off, which means that you're lower down. It's still not as good as VP4, but you've got that choice. The other choice you have when you're setting a room up is you can also have tracking lines on or off. So Shooter's Pool has that option. But there was, I mean, all the time that we were doing testing and Larry was there as well, there was no mention of any tracking line. That's the first time I've heard that in 7 years. A good bank from Larry, but he's going to have to jump the 8. Well, the only way anything can be enabled is in the code that Steve has access to, which no doubt he can trigger things to happen. I mean, I don't know whether you noticed that, I mean, this is an entirely different subject, but I had mentioned to Steve a while ago, I think it was like 2 years ago, when my account was about to expire, and I told him I had like 13,000 $V in my account, and I wanted to use them to buy my subscription, and he says, "Oh, aye, that's a good idea. Maybe we should have done that." And he's never done it. But lo and behold, if you know, at Christmas there, when we had that Christmas tournament, and he was doing the raffle, and I bought raffle tickets, and when you went to the payment, when you went to the checkout, the payment option, the only option that was there for you was your V dollars. So it allowed you to buy raffle tickets. The 100 V dollars would come out your account. So he can do it, he just won't do it. So anybody that's won money over the time they've played in tournaments and ladders and stuff like that, all that V dollars does is just accumulate, and you can't use it for any value other than spending it on more queues, which you don't need. And you know, it'd be good once in a while to just get rid of a chunk of those V dollars and renew your account with them. But it won't do that. But anyway, Larry's trailing 1-0 at the table, and the crucial shot getting from this 7 onto the 8. Now is he going to hook himself? Oh dear. Let's see what's happened. Well, there you go. And it's going to have to be a tight jump here over this 9. Well, that isn't a good bank. It's going to have to be the cut down the rail. Yeah, well, you can send an email, ask him to do it. That's 2 years he's had a chance to do it, and he's never bothered his arse. And Larry trying to cheat the pocket too much there, and it's going to be 2-0. Listen, Steve talked about a lot of things that was going to happen in VP4, none of which have happened. The leagues, nothing's been done about them. The idea of them's been dropped altogether, even though the league thing's still up in the lobby. He talked about all these university students that were members of this pool association coming here. None of them have ever showed. He was talking about all these Japanese players that were going to come here. 3 of them showed. One of which is the one you only see regularly, Aya Fresh. All the rest have come and gone. He's talked about having other games on the Celeris server other than VP4. That's never happened. I mean, you could write a whole list of stuff that he said would be a way of getting revenue to come in, and none of them have ever happened. The only thing is I remember what he said. Well, this is a nice angle. I like the angle on this 3. If you punch it in and get the stun on it, you can nip across for that 4 ball. And that will do nicely. So the problem ball is going to be the 6. Only from where it's sitting, it's off the rail, so it's not a difficult pot. It only becomes difficult when you end up leaving yourself in a way out position on it. And Spectre Dawn has a high angle on this 5 ball and makes it more difficult to get good in the 6. And that's probably about the best he could do. And it's a little draggy cut shot you want on this 6 so that the cue ball doesn't escape too far. You've got to be brave enough to play it. And he did the right thing, but it's so difficult to keep them hugging to that rail. Now, has he got lucky? Well, no, he hasn't. Now, Larry, he needs to maybe help this cue ball here. A little bit of spin to get off the rail. So Larry's got a lifeline. It's all a question of whether he can take it. And he has the angle. And the worst thing that will happen here is he scratches in this bottom left hand corner coming down for the 8. That's the only possible outcome. And he's avoided that. So it looks like Larry's going to pinch one here. It was odds on going to be 3-0. The important thing for Larry is he's got the break in rack number 4. And the 5 ball threatened to go in, but nothing has gone. But the 9 ball has come to the rescue, I think. And no shot for Spectre Dawn. Oh, I was going to tell you a joke there. It was a video I saw either on YouTube or Facebook. I'm trying to remember what the bloody joke was again. Oh, God. Oh, aye, right. Potman, are you there? I don't know whether you have ever seen it. Right. I'm going to play this word game with you, Potman. Now, I'm going to ask you. I'm going to make 3 statements, and your answer to each statement is addicted, right? So, if you are relying on drugs like heroin and stuff, What are you? What's the answer? Right, I'm waiting you type in your answer. Or someone who... Right. No. What did I just tell you? I told you your answer to my questions or my statements are addicted. So if you're relying on heroin, all of these things, amphetamines or whatever you call them, you would describe the person as addicted correctly. Now that's the correct answer. Now my next question is, someone who consumes a lot of alcohol and really relies on it to survive each day or to get by each day, what would you describe as that person? Right, correct. And my final question is, what made that mess on your face last night? I'm waiting your answer. Now, are you sitting there thinking, does not compute? Or are you saying addicted? Oh, I wish I could find a video, because it's actually a woman in a store, like a local store in the States, right? And it's somebody behind the counter talking to their colleague and asking similar questions like that. And it's only when they asked her the third question and she said addicted, you want to see her reaction? I wonder if I can find it. No, I'll no bother. But it's out there. Anyway, more important matters. We're all square here. We're at 2-2. We've got Larry trying to play safe. He's left it wide open. This time, Spectre Dawn makes the error. He's hung up the 2. And these, I still say, are the toughest shots to be able to control. It's only when you get a big wide margin of error that you can comfortably play them. Larry's played that very well, but he needs another good one to have any decent shot in that 4-ball. My eyes are bad enough, but it helps if I can actually see through the glass in my specs. Well, Larry's gone out of shape again, and it's just a kick and hope here in the 4-ball. Well, he had 2 goes at getting into that left middle pocket, none of which have gone. But Spectre Dawn has his chance to go into the lead. Now that's just gone a wee bit too far, and now we've got problems. He's neither here nor there. And it's going to take a good one. He's played that well. I don't think there is. I think it's just you, Pop Man. I think everybody's got bored and gone to bed. I think most folk can only put up with me for about an hour and then they go elsewhere. Well, Spectre Dawn has his lead. He's broke off in rack number 6. It's come up dry, and well, Larry's got a thin one, a very shallow angle into that middle pocket. Yeah, that was tough. But it's now turned into a very good opportunity here for Spectre Dawn. Look at the table, balls are perfect. Now he's going to lock himself behind the 8 here. Oops, I hit the wrong button. See when you hit that C button? He's okay. So the tournament's now got to about almost 3.25 hours, which isn't too bad. I think you know, back in the old days in VP3 we used to have I mean, I remember early on in VP3 the Friday night 9 ball started at 9 o'clock our time, and it used to go on to after 1 o'clock in the morning. So Spectre Dawn, just a reminder, in the HUD needs to get to the 8 ball, and it's not going to be quite cut and dried here. He needs to avoid the collision with the 8, and he has to get back down the table somehow to get on this 7. Yeah, he was prepared to leave the long cut. He's missed a 6, but has he got away with it? Well, Larry is going to have to judge this well, because that 9 ball is in a dangerous position to get a sight on the the 7. When he cuts this 6, he's coming across here and he's overcut it, cut it into the jaw, and well, now Larry's staring at a gap here. It's looking like it's going to be 4-2 to Spectre Dawn. And it definitely is now. So we're into rack number 7. And the break is dry, and Larry's blocked out in the 1. I don't know whether you can see an edge of it or anything like that. No, just looking to push. Now Larry's played on to the 8, and the thing is, he's left an open invitation here for Spectre Dawn to pot the 1. And Larry could be in trouble here in a minute. Well, if Spectre Dawn goes forward I don't know whether he can avoid the 7. Well, he's not taking that risk. He's just trying to rely on these balls covering up the 2. And he hasn't done it. And what's more, he's left it on. Well, the pressure will build even more. Larry's trailing. He's missed a 2. And if Spectre Don can get good on the 3, which I think he's just done, the gap could widen even more. This is another wee tester, this 6 ball. You can see the path that the cue ball wants to take. He's come up the table or back towards us. Left himself high in the 7. But remember, he's only needing the 7 and the 8, so he's bound to be on the 8 surely. And it's going to be 5-2. So that missing the blue, in the 2, sorry, has cost Larry severely. See, now Larry can see the 1. There's no way he should be trying to pot this 1. He should be playing it safe. Now the only problem with that shot is, although he's blocked it, it's a clear invitation to play a jump shot. And in goes the 1. But no shot in the 2, unless he wants to try and kick it in. And that was a poor one. There's the right way and the wrong way to play that shot. If you want to try and leave that 2 ball on the rail, you play it with bottom, and you punch the cue ball away from the 2, and the 2 will stick close to the rail. And Larry again has an opportunity here to play a decent safety, but he'll be going for the cross bank, and he's missed it. Now again, he's left the jump, and this, well, it looks a simple enough shot to jump and knock the 3 in. Cue ball will be coming down the table. If it comes far enough, he'll have the 4 into the middle past the 5, and the spin is just checking it up. You know, if it had just run further, he would have had a shot. He could try the far-fetched combo onto the 7. He could try the bank across into this bottom left-hand corner. Well, this is Larry's chance, and he simply has to take this rack out at this stage. Look at the 6 ball. It comfortably goes past the 8. And it's still a wee bit fiddly for Larry to get good on the 7, so that he doesn't have to work the cue ball too much to get himself good on that 8. Now if he's drawn off this, he's drawn over to the left hand side, but he could be going off 2 rails, off the right rail and the left rail, and back into the table here. That's it. Oh, the 9 ball. He's okay. That was the only thing that could go wrong, either the scratch or the 9 ball blocking it. But he's landed good. So Larry's going to start his rescue mission here. And he's starting it by winning rack number 8. And he's got it back to within 2, and he's got the break. But he's not going to get any luck in the break, is he? What about the 8 ball? 8 ball's thinking about it, and it goes. And I think he's got a shot in the 1. Has he? Oh, can he get to the... Aye, he can get to the cutting angle of that 1. No, he doesn't. He doesn't think he can. Well, I would have looked at it a wee bit more closely. Maybe my eyes are deceiving me, but I think the worry there was getting a shot in the 2. So he's looked for a safety. He hasn't got the cover. Well, any collision in that 2 would have maybe helped. He's missed it completely. And the 4 is a blocking ball. Well, right now that's Larry's lifeline. And again, Spectre Dawn shouldn't have hit that 4 ball with the 2. And Larry might just reverse bank this past the 4. And just look for cover. I don't think he can... He can't pot the 2. But he can, if he can squeeze around with left English, he can just bank the 2 onto the side rail. Well, he's went all out for the bank. I don't think it was on. I thought the safety would have been a better option there. And he's almost got away with it, I think. So we're on a race to 9 in this week's Friday night 9 ball. And Spectre Dawn went all out for the 2. He's missed it. And Larry now has his chance to get another one back. Straight 2 ball and a roll through for the 3 ball into the right middle. And the crucial shot in this run, well, he's missed the 2. And that is a bad one. And I don't know how many of them I've missed recently. I've missed loads of those. I mean, it's a straight in shot, and it's so easy to get your sighting wrong and focusing on that Q-tip and hitting that centre ball, because as soon as you tweak it and it goes to the jaws, it ain't going in. And I've been missing far too many of them recently. I've been missing loads. I've been playing crap. Not that I've played a lot, but I certainly have. I went downhill in a big way. And those straight in shots, when I have them from a distance, they either go in or they ain't going in. Nothing's a definite nowadays. The old eyes are going. And Spectre Dawn has just run a wee bit further than he would like. and he's going to collide with this 7 ball, and it all rides on where the 7 ball ends up, because Spectre Don's extra money ball has gone, and he's going to have to get to the 9. And that's turned out nice. That was a nicely controlled shot. Little nudge onto the 7 and enough weight just to bring it off the rail. That was well played. And so Spectre Don is going to widen the gap again. It's going to 3. And it's 6-3. So it's another dry break. Larry's going to play the push out. Oh, and here's a good opportunity for a decent save here. You can thin cut the edge of the 1, send it onto the rail down there and get the cue ball into the middle of the table and use those balls for cover. And that will do. And Larry's just going to spin around and try and catch that 1, which he's managed to do. But he's left a shot. And there's plenty of room to pot the 2. And even if he runs into a ball here, he's still got surely to have a shot in the 2. The difficult part of this one is drawing back into the gap between the 7 and the 8 ball would allow you a cut in the 4. You'd have to run around the table to get down for the 5, so he's coming back the way and he's left himself in no man's land in the 4. He can play the cut, but the cue ball's running around into that 8 and 9, I think. He can play the bank up that way and in there, but the cue ball still wants to go into those. Well, he's played a brilliant shot there. Lots of draw onto the side rail on the left, side rail on the right, near the middle pocket, and he has a pretty good shot in this 5, but he needs to control the pace. I don't think whether he can hold this for the 6. It's going to have to be a delicate little shot. Well, he's going to have to pull out something brilliant here as well, because he's got definitely nothing on the 6 this time. There's no combo, unless you try to make it and cut that 6 just past the 7 to make the pot. Well, he went all out for the pot. He's going to scratch. Well, Larry's been given a lifeline in this rack. Ball in hand. And just looking at where he wants to be playing that 7 ball from. Now that would be an ideal position just to stun onto the 8. But he's gone pretty much straight. Now the thing is whether he's trying to, well, he's leaving it high, and this is a risk you take because you're relying on luck to where that 9 ball's going to finish up with a collision here. He's riding his luck, he's chancing his arm, and that's why he's missed the 8, because he was focusing on where that 9 ball was going to end up. And his second option when he was playing that 8 ball was to run through and play the 9 ball long. And the bank on the 8 is a wee gift for Spectre Dawn, and he's now widened the gap, and it's 7-3. Six ball goes in, 2 ball goes in, but the 1 ball is blocked off. With that shot that Larry had there, I mean, he was looking at the 8, he knew he was going to hit the 9, but he ended up focusing so much on his connection with the 9 ball so that he didn't push it away dead and leave it open that he totally forgot with the 8. So now his back's against the wall. He's got the mountain to climb. Well, we had snow a couple of days ago, and we've had two bright, sunny, frosty days since then. And then when I looked out tonight, we'd sort of little snow grains falling. We've had a little sprinkle, a shower, and now it's just turned frosty. But we haven't had any. I mean, we had probably, a couple of centimetres. And, you know, most of that, where it's been exposed to the sun, has pretty much melted away. The forecast for next week is it's to get milder again anyway, so it's not any long cold snap. This table is not pretty for a run out, especially with a 4 ball. It just creates problems. And I think Larry's overcooked that, has he? Well, he's overcooked it far enough. He's come out past the 5. But this is where the problems start, is getting something on this 4 ball, and from where he is, he's not going to have an awful lot to go by. And he's tried his best to get in behind the 4. And this is where he just feels forced into cutting the 4. It's a heavy price to pay. He knows if he misses this and leaves it on, he's probably losing another rack. And he's overcut it. Four ball off the rail. And that is plumb. Plumb on the 5 just to drop onto the rail for the 7. Well, not on the rail. You want a wee angle like that so that you can get up the table for the 8 into the same pocket. Well, Spectre Dawn about to go to the hill. And it just might be one rack too many here for Larry to mount a comeback. He's going to have to play to the standard he was playing earlier on in the tournament, which is basically not missing anything, if he's going to get any sort of redemption. So as it is, it's 8-3 to Spectre Dawn. And we are, what, 3 hours and about 36 minutes into the tournament. Well, I'd just be locking the cue ball up here. That's just too much to be trying to do. Well, he's trying to squeeze it in off the jaw, but he's got the next prize. And Larry out with the jump stick. Plays it well. But it's another ugly table, simply because the other problem that done Larry was at the 4-ball. It was just awkward. He couldn't quite get on it, and now we've got a 5 and a 6 locked up. 7-ball in behind him, so his chances of running out here are fairly slim. Oh dear. Now, how does this look? Well, he's got far too much angle in the 4. And I think if he could collide with the 9 and somehow get a cannon onto the 5 and 6 that way, that's his best outcome, because I can't see him running into the 5 and 6 with the angle he has here. He's trying to nudge something. Well, he's lining up the pot. No, it's not going to go there. He's trying to do too much. Now, if this 5-ball goes in, Spectre Dawn's got the perfect angle around the corner. If he gets the action in the cue ball, couple of rails, he wants to go that way. And down there to have a shot in the 6. But he needs to get some action in the cue ball. Well, he's gone the other way. Has he found a gap? Yes, he has. That will do. The only problem with that shot, though, is he's gone the wrong side of the 6. You're going to have to trickle it in and leave the higher cut. But just 2 balls away from the tournament. Well, guys, well, Popman and whoever is still there, it's beginning to look like it's all over. We'll have a final look at the bracket and see where the money's went. So Spectre Dawn has won this week's Friday night 9-ball, and he wins it by beating Larry by 9 racks to 3. So the 8-ball money ball came in handy in that match. Right, final look at the outcome. And we can see that Spectre Dawn has won $690. Larry, with the runner-up spot, gets 345. And third and fourth place, third gets $220. And, well, at least Popman's got a few dollars in his pocket. 175 for fourth place. So, with that, guys, and whoever is still watching, thanks for your company. That is it for another week. I am back at work on Monday. So I don't know when the next stream will be, whenever I have time and whenever I can stay awake. But if it's on a working day, you know what usually happens. I have to pull the plug. 10:30 is the latest I can go and get to bed. So I'll bid you good night. Thanks for watching, Popman. Thanks for anyone else that's still out there, and we'll see you again soon.